It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam Lesante. Welcome to the Sam Lesante Show. My friends, November 4th is a very important day, more so than ever, okay? Particularly in the city of Pottsville. Let me just give you some information. You know, sometimes facts are stubborn things. From 2010 to currently 2024, your taxes went up over 77%. Now think about that. Your taxes went up 77%. What do you attribute that to? Well, what do you attribute any business to? Management, people who are controlling different things. Pottsville is a great town. I've been there for over 20-some years with Samson Productions. And November 4th, there is a critical election going on. Now, we're going to present to you facts. And incidentally, the opposite side is welcome to come on, pay the fee, and they have their say. But today, as I say, facts are stubborn things. So we're going to learn about some things today, very important things. Some of them are going to upset some people. Well, hopefully, you know, we just want to present facts. Joining me today is Tom Smith. He's running for mayor in Pottsville. And Scott Price and John Marsh, who is running for city council. Well, first of all, welcome, gentlemen, on the show. You got a challenge, okay? Well, let's talk about some of the things that's happening in Pottsville that are concerning to taxpayers. And sometimes people just like to close their ears or their eyes and put their hands over their ears and not listen to what's happening. Hopefully, we will expose some things that happen. So let's talk in general, Tom, as to number one, who you are, what do you bring to the table, and why did you run, or why you want to run for mayor?
My name's Tom Smith. My wife Lori Smith. I've also been a resident of Pottsville for almost 40 years. What I bring to the table, I have management experience, ran businesses, was a certified financial planner. My roots go deep into running businesses. And Sam, that's how the city runs, by a business, not by your friends and relatives.
Well, you've seen things happen, okay,
Yes.
in town. What are some of the things that really irked you and when you saw what you said you saw mismanagement at City Hall, a loss of millions of dollars, okay? And who pays, of course, the taxpayer. And sometimes they're not educated, but you know, who pays for that? But the taxpayer. What did you see?
So what I see, Sam, the result of that 77% increase is just total mismanagement. Just, I mean, on the tip of the iceberg. Us, the citizens, when they say it's, you know, we paid for this, the taxpayers paid for it.
Yeah.
Over $100,000 for a phone answering system for City Hall that if you call in and you have a problem with blight, that records the call and then it will give the blight task force or the code enforcement, it'll give them so much time to respond to it. Well, guess what, Sam? It's been over a year. They never set it up yet. They spent over $10,000 on a website for Pottsville. Look up Pottsville's website. It's the same old stuff that's been on there for years. We paid $10,000 for that. That's just a little bit of it. The CRIZ grant. I know we keep on pounding it, but this is one of the most major events that could have changed the whole complexity of Pottsville.
John, as a businessman, and what you've done, you know, there's a lot on your plate to begin with. Why do you want to become a city councilman?
Yeah, I think I can help. So the one thing I bring to the table is I'm a leader. I'm a prior service Marine Corps veteran. I'm a business owner, and I'm a team builder. It's what I do. And I think that is one thing that we're really lacking right now is somebody there that can build teams to get the things done that we need to get done. And that's the role of city council. It's not for them to do everything. It's not possible. It's their job to delegate and then manage those delegated tasks. And that's how I can help.
As a businessman, do you feel the current administration is doing what they should be doing and helping the citizens of Pottsville City?
No. In business, you need to be proactive. And currently, the leadership is very reactive. And that's a major issue and probably the number one hindrance and why we're not getting grant funding is we're reacting to things instead of seeking them out. if you give yourself more time, if you put things in place that allow you to seek out these funding opportunities, you'll find that you will get more of them and it'll be more successful. You'll have less failures when you do apply. You'll give yourselves more time to make corrections when they're needed, which was a big deal with the CRIS grant that we're going to go over a bit more in detail.
That's critical.
Yeah, is that if had it been a proactive endeavor, they may have been able to salvage it.
And Scott, you're you're busy. You have a great career. Why do you want to become a city council?
Well, I will correct you on one thing. The CRIS grant wasn't one of the biggest.
Oh, there's
grants
bigger
ever.
ones?
No, I'm saying it is the biggest.
Okay. Oh, I got you. Okay.
There is nothing higher than the CRIS grants. When we talk about that later, we can. I was born and raised in Pottsville. Born in Good Sam Hospital. I know this. I know this town. I know what it was, and I know what it is now. And to me, it's lost a lot of its vibrancy. It's lost a lot of its energy. And I believe over the years there has become a disconnect with the city leadership and the people that they work for. Okay? I think they forgot a long time ago that they work for the best interest of the citizens. And I want to bring that back. I want to bring that connection back. There's a lot of people out there, we've been on a campaign trail where they've tried to call code. They've tried to call the street department. They've tried to ask the council for help, and they've gotten nothing in return. You can't have that. People are paying taxes. They're paying their money to the city. You should be getting your services back from the city. And there is such a disconnect. And the phrase I've used is it's a tale of two cities to me right now. Depending on where you are in a city, it's like entire neighborhoods have just been forgotten. And we need to bring back that connection. We need to give people a voice.
Being there as many years as I've been there, okay, and let me tell you, I'd say that great people in Pottsville.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love Schuylkill County. I've been there in Pottsville. They've been very receptive to me with Samson Productions, etc. But why then, and I've seen a number of things, but why then, it's like you have pain. Why do you want to continue to have pain, okay?
Right.
When you look at City Hall and you look at the elections, it seems they keep going the same way. Okay, now, is it because people say, well, we're happy with this? I mean, what would be your interpretation? Let me start with you, Scott.
I think it's a combination of things, depending on how many layers of the onion you want to peel back. I think it's, number one, it's just repeated broken promises.
But how many? And I say the politicians, and with all due respect to everyone, people are not stupid these days.
Right.
Okay, is it because of cliques? Is it because of they're nice people? Or and that's great. But look what Pottsville paid. I
Right.
mean, these poor
people
are paying serious prices because of mismanagement. From what you're saying,
Correct.
Okay. Do you feel this?
I think there's cliques, and I think it's. I think they've built a system where, we can bring up evidence and we can bring up stories where they're just lining it. Sorry to say it, they're lining their pockets. You have councilmen right now. You have members of the city council right now, paying their own family businesses.
This is factual.
Factual, 100% factual. You have city councilmen that, when they ran and started their campaign years ago for their first position, they were given city contracts while running with current city officials, right? So you're a city official, I run as your campaign mate or your running mate, and now my private LLC gets money. Well, now I'm gonna go tell 10 of my friends that he needs to vote for us, right? And those 10 tell 10 and 10 tell 10. And so it really, you have nepotism, you have favoritism, but from a factual standpoint, you have members of the city council right now voting to pay their family business.
John, how do you feel about that?
So I think going back to why we've continued to see the results that we've had.
Yeah.
I think it's people feel disenfranchised a bit, like maybe their vote wouldn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And I think that's our job, is to try and get that information out to them that it absolutely does. This is a big election for the city of Pottsville.
Oh, yes.
And their vote absolutely matters. Matter of fact, last year the difference was between winning and losing was 27 votes. It matters a great deal, and we need the voters to get out there and actually voice their opinion.
Tom, when it comes to, the city, all right,
Yes.
and here again, we're talking facts here today.
Yes.
This is no innuendos or, we're not, as Scott so well put, we're talking facts. And sometimes facts are stubborn things.
Yes.
People don't want to hear these things, okay? So let's talk about the way the city is right now. Let's talk about blight. Why hasn't this been addressed in the last 2 years? Your opponent's he's been in office there for 2 years.
2 years,
So he
yes.
has a lot to say about what's going on.
Well,
Okay.
a lot going on with the city right now is just absolute neglect. We have no city administrator. We have no director for redevelopment, which is massive for taking care of blight and so forth. There is this continued habit of getting these blighted homes, put them in conservatorship, flipping them to a local contractor, and he passes through and sells them to somebody out of town. When you have a property that's under conservatorship, to my understanding is that the city turns it over to a reliable contractor, trusted contractor. It is up to him to restore that property to function, to bring it back to livable conditions. What is going on is they're being turned over to this contractor for almost nothing. He turns around and he flips it immediately because they put a pass-through clause in this to bypass a crawback that they would, if you don't react on these properties within a certain amount of time, the city will take them back. Well, they got around that. One of the big problems we have is we have a solicitor that just for redevelopment in the last 30 months have billed the city $194,000 just for one solicitorship. He has 3. You're not supposed to have the same solicitor do all 3 authorities. Now, I also heard, again, can't confirm, I heard, that total in between the 3 solicitorships, he's over $430,000 in over the last 2 years in billing. So that's where a lot of our money's going.
This is open to the public to
It's
see.
open to the public. Well, if you can get it, Sam, everything we need to find out that what the taxpayers are paying for, they're not allowed to see because you have to file a right to know. There is no check and balances. There are no financial
There's no
shapes.
watchdog.
There's nobody. There's no oversight on anything. Greater Pottsville Sewer Authority is looking at a huge increase. They have real problems. But who appoints the sewer authority, who oversees them, is City Council. That's where John mentioned they can't fix everything. City Council can't, but they have to oversee. They don't oversee anything. The Blight Task Force hadn't met for over a year. God knows we have, I think, 148 blighted properties, and there's nothing to talk about. It's astounding.
What was the story with the playgrounds?
So I'm going to let Scott handle that. He has a better.
Tell me about what happened with the playground.
Yeah, so early on in the campaign, we had gone out. We had done some on-the-ground work back in the spring, and we had pointed out, or a resident of Pottsville had pointed out, that our playgrounds are extremely dilapidated. And the one that they had picked out initially was Race Street Playground, and we were all up there, and I think he compared it to his time overseas. He said, I feel like I'm driving through Fallujah here. Everything's potted up. The streets are torn up. So this playground, a resident had posted some pictures saying, our playground's in really, really bad shape. So Tom's opponent, Andy, had gone up about a week or 2 later with a third-party vendor, and they dumped some mulch on top of the weeds. They ripped out some fencing, and they kind of put lipstick on a pig, as the saying goes. He put it on his personal Facebook page. He talked about his campaign. He talked about the election. He said, during election season, things get busy. This is not just about my campaign, but it's about you, the people, and all that. And he boasted about how he got a volunteer to fix this playground.
A volunteer.
Volunteer. And I have had to post here.
So he said he got a volunteer.
Third-party vendor volunteered to help on Race Street as well.
Okay. What was
Comma, yes, volunteered.
Okay, so what happened?
So, me at home, it didn't smell right to me. It didn't pass the sniff test, Sam, and I started doing some right to knows. And we discovered that the vendor was paid. Andy had lied about paying this vendor. Now, on the surface, that doesn't seem like a bad thing. Problem is, Andy didn't inform the rest of the city council he was being paid. There was no formal approval process to pay the vendor for the playground. And when questioned on it, Andy lied at the city council. He said the vendor wasn't paid. I presented him with checks. He said, nope, you're basically a liar. I asked Mike Weirs, the controller, my opponent. I said, hey, what's the process for you to sign checks? And Mike said, I sign whatever they put in front of me. So Andy, you're saying you didn't know he was paid, but then Mike Weirs is saying he signs what you guys tell him to sign. Somebody isn't telling the truth.
And what happens then, okay, is that's what I've found through the years of my experience. That's one issue. But God knows how many more issues have happened in City Hall that the people are not aware of. And so that's why I say you have a watchdog or you have a committee, okay, and that's the sad part. And again, you're talking fact here, okay. But my question is then, how many other things that people don't know that are happening? Now let's go to this big thing. Okay, what you said is the big thing.
So let me add on top.
Yeah.
Actually,
there's more? Oh
well, the icing on top was 24 hours after we questioned him at the council meeting, Andy had issued a public Facebook post saying, oh yeah, the vendor was paid.
Okay,
I just didn't know he was paid.
Okay,
there was a
all
miscommunication.
right. Well, then you get surmise. So let's talk about the biggest thing. Okay, as you said, and it is the biggest thing. Up to 50 million or more.
Or more.
Dollars.
Yes.
Could have gone to the city of Pottsville.
Yes.
But it is not going to the city of Pottsville because of neglect. Okay?
Absolutely.
Am I correct in saying that? That's what
Yes.
you guys have said. So tell the viewers and the people of Pottsville why they're going to be suffering because there was neglect in City Hall.
This CRIS grant is set up to help communities like Pottsville revitalize their downtown. You get 83% of your state tax dollars back rebated to you. This only comes up every once in a great while. I believe the last one was awarded 5 to 7 years ago before they put this on the table. The real issue is, the big insult is, Pottsville had no competition for this. We were the only third-class city in the state to apply for it. It was a slam dunk. The deal was, like, Reading just got it for their size city, much bigger than us. But they were notified in June. They put a CRIS authority together to formulate and do all the paperwork, do all the legwork to figure out what they have to do. Pottsville's notified equal time. Couldn't get it together. They wanted to run it through redevelopment because they didn't want it to leave their club, the clubhouse. They want to keep all the same people doing everything. And the state didn't want that. They applied for it. State kicked it back, told them, you need to start an authority. You need to do, here's what you need to do to put this in place. Didn't do it again, applied a second time. All along, you have a grant writer a block and a half away from them that would help for free. Alvernia's grant writer would help anybody in the city. She could have handled this and got it done for them. Didn't bother, didn't ask for any help. Sent it in a second time, they kicked it back again. Third time, they just dropped it. They decided they didn't want to do it. But when it was asked in the city council meeting, one said, the guy currently running as mayor, that bragged.
Your opponent.
My opponent bragged at Black Rock, throwing balls at a dunk tank. Boy, the CRIS grant's got to buy a lot of these baskets of balls. But in the city council, he said, I didn't know anything about the CRIS. Another person said, the acting mayor said, we only had 2 weeks. And then a city councilwoman said, oh, we had a month. It doesn't matter. They had 3 months, but they didn't take care of it. So that is not offered every year. We might not see that again until there's a new governor, and it is off the table. Meanwhile, Tamaqua got it. I think I mentioned this last time. 5 years ago, they got $500,000. They're half the size of us. This year, they're getting $2 million on half the size of the city that we are. What would we be getting now? Could we get $3 to $4 million in the next couple of years? Yeah, I think we could have.
That goes into the general fund.
It goes in, it's specific for redevelopment, but that redevelopment continues on, and that money can be dispersed for other needs, police, safety, roads.
But you can connect it to what you talked about, or one of these gentlemen talked about earlier, the sewage project.
Yeah,
And the huge rate increases coming.
that's right.
You couldn't directly take that money and put it towards a sewage project, but that sewage project has a route through town, right? And any building that attaches to that project, if you wanted to revitalize that building as a part of CRIZ, you could reduce the cost of the sewage project with CRIZ funds. So if the sewage project is touching 10 houses and 2 of the houses are designated for a CRIZ project, you've just reduced that project by 2 houses. So it's like Tom said, it's such an indirect.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
And this is, see, the public is not aware of that.
No,
The
the paper won't cover it.
Now,
Nobody.
why won't the paper cover it?
You tell me, Sam. We don't. It's the Pottsville Republican, but I'm telling you, they cover nothing that has anything to do that is negative towards sitting City Hall people right now.
Is that a fact?
That's a fact.
How do you feel about that, John?
I think Pottsville citizens have a right to know. This is the issue that got me off the couch. Actually, I felt that that apathy can't exist, and that level of inaction just it's not what we're looking for. I'm a father now. I have 2 young children. They're going to grow up in this city. This city needs to improve. I want it to be better for them, and I don't think that this current leadership, with that sort of inaction on such a major topic, they're not going to get that done. So,
I mean, we're media partners with the, Pottsville Republican.
Yes.
I mean, certainly have no problem. I've always felt that they're fair and balanced, okay? And what you're saying, do you feel that the paper is not giving you the information,
Sam,
or what?
They interviewed the guys they're running against, the 2 councilmen for the other side. I reached out and said, "Can you talk to our people?" That was 2 months ago. They will not. They were told by the one reporter, "We're not allowed to talk to you guys." Is that fair and unbiased reporting? That's terrible. But Sam, if I can just touch on another subject.
Go ahead.
To just show the depth of what they're doing, and I'm scratching my head over this. There's a young gentleman in my neighborhood that worked for the Park Commission. They take care of the weeds, and so teenage boy, 16-year-old boy. They hire teenage kids. This was questioned last council meeting, why our parks and why our sidewalks are so bad, and yet we're hiring people at $60 an hour when they offer these kids $8 an hour. Their response was no kids applied. Well, for this park and recreation job, 3 people came up to me at the council meeting and said their kids applied. One of them worked the year before. They weren't hired. They have this landscaping business doing this for $60 an hour, 3 guys at a time, $180 an hour compared to $8 an hour times 4 is 24. Not heavy math. But what really upset me was one of the mothers of the kids that are in a park commission said to me, "Why would they send my son into a blighted property that's owned by an individual, not the city?" And they had to clean it out. They had 6 teenage boys in this blighted property cleaning out hypodermic needles, rotted mattresses, rotted magazines, filth and pestilence with a 25-cent CVS mask. No gloves, no boots, no eye protection. The one boy got an eye injury from smashing concrete with no eye protection. They spent a week and a half on this. And it was out of conservatorship and no longer owned by the city. They spent a week and a half worth of time. Then they all got a $60 cash bonus. That to me really smells bad. You got these boys in danger in these blighted properties working for an individual. The property doesn't belong to the city, but they're being paid by the taxpayers.
Folks, I'm talking to Tom Smith, Scott Price, and John Marsh, running for office November 4th. As I said, my friends, facts are stubborn things sometimes. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. November 4th, it's an important day. Please get out and vote. We're talking to Tom Smith, who is running for mayor in Pottsville, and John Marsh and Scott Price running for councilman. Wrapping things up, tell me about your 90-day plan.
Okay, so one thing, what big advantage is that people are really liking it. We have a 90-day plan. The other side has released no policies.
Okay.
Nothing. We have a 90-day plan. My take on it, what I bring to the table is my ability to find grants, state, federal, working with all the legislators. Tim Tawardzy's been instrumental. Dave Argel, Dan Muser, fantastic. They're there to help, but Pottsville hasn't asked for almost 10 years for any help. So that's what I bring. John?
What about your committees?
Yeah, so we mentioned it earlier that our job is to oversee these committees and to make sure that they're doing the delegated tasks that they need. And so that's my job, is making sure that the committees are, one, staffed, and that they're meeting on a regular basis to take care of the issues that the city needs covered.
And of course, wasteful spending, as you.
I'm a lean analyst
Yeah.
as a career, and my job, my first 90 days, is to identify a strategic department and begin implementing some wasteful cost-cutting tactics. Not cost-cutting as an employee headcount or nothing, but process management, process analysis. And we would like to, like Tom said, they haven't released any policies, and they have turned us down on four separate occasions to debate us.
You're kidding me.
No.
You're telling me that they don't want to come up and debate to put their to answer to the citizens of Pottsville?
So I spoke to our opponent, Mike Weirs, in person in July.
Yeah.
He refused. I emailed Tom Wood.
What do they have to hide?
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
I emailed our second opponent, Tom Wood, in August. We have those emails.
See, that disturbs me, because if you're in office, you owe it to the public to explain to you what you're doing, and that goes back to the fact that they have these cliques, and that's not good for the public. And guess what? Pottsville, over 77% in tax increase. Now, maybe they're doing things right. I don't know. But come out and say, look, I'll debate you. No problem. I'll be more than happy to debate you. I'm standing behind what I've done. Wouldn't that be the logical thing?
The worst part is the head of the Pottsville Democratic Party
Yeah.
met with a Republican backer, a businessman in town.
Yeah.
And in a bipartisan manner, about 2 weeks ago, they created a debate format.
Okay.
And I had kind of spoken as agents of our party. I said, anything you want. We don't care what you put down.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And they had created a bipartisan format. And the head of the Democratic Party in Pottsville took it back to Andy, Tom, and Mike and said, hey, I wrote this for you. And they all turned it down. They said, no, we don't.
On their format.
My friends, facts are stubborn things. I love Pottsville. You guys have been great to us down there. We have the Schuylkill report, et cetera, et cetera. Boy, you're paying the price. You're paying the price. You're paying the price because, if you have a person in office and I'd be more than happy to do debate. I'd be more than happy to say, hey, come on, Scott, whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about. I hope they do a debate. I really do. So people could see their side as well. As always, whoever is running for office, I wish him the best of luck. I wish the three of you the best as well. I wish anyone is running for office. Please get out the vote November 4th. We'll see you next time.